Welcome back to Evolve Songwriting, everybody. My name is Jake. This is where we break down your favorite music, and today we are listening to the much anticipated Honeymoon from Lana Del Rey. Before we get talking, if you are new here, please subscribe down below. That way you get every video fresh to your inbox, and also click the link in the description to go to our Discord server where we can chat further about the reaction today. But yes, Lana Del Rey. I know we've got plenty of Lana fans here, and I've been prepping myself, man. I re-listened to Norman Rockwell a few times, and that album is so good. Honestly, it gets better every listen. I'm picking things up. Also been listening to Ultraviolence again, which was the preceding album to this one. So I got context sort of either side of things. I just did a little bit of research, a bit of background to just see if there's anything important in terms of the background of this album. Yeah, I've been listening to these albums a little bit out of order, so I'm kind of just filling all the gaps in her discography. I would love to get to Chemtrails and Blue Banisters eventually before the new one comes out, which I'm sure we all know about. That way I can sort of listen to all of the albums in the lead up and have a really good sort of solid understanding of all her work chronologically. I haven't heard a single track off this before. As I understand, she's working with a lot of the same producers. It's a fairly long album, as usual. We got 14 tracks, one being a short interlude. So strap in, but I don't want to waste any more time. I think we just dive straight into it with the title track. Let's go. All right, coming in, track one is the title track. This is Honeymoon. A little bit of a change as well. I'm going to have the lyrics actually on screen with me, so that means I can sort of use my brain a bit less on the lyrics. As I'm sure you guys know by now, naturally, I'm a bit more of a production guy when it comes to listening. Anyway, written by Rick Knowles and Lana Del Rey. So Rick Knowles coming back from previous albums, and produced by Lana Del Rey, Kieran Menzies, and Rick Knowles. Excited. Let's kick this off. Honeymoon. Ooh. Also noticed that title, we're already slip into that romance theme. Oh, such dark strings.
We both know
Strange at the minor key.
that it's not fashionable to love me.
Just
But you
staying on the same chord. Strings, tense. Digga, 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 digga. And there's a major finally lift.
to the blues.
Ooh.
We'll show
Intros, she really plays with you in terms of lifting into the major and then sinking back into the minor. We're back there. Ooh, it's great. Very thick bottom end. Just that lyric over and over again. Classic treatment of the harmonies too for her. She's got that real singing, speaking quality to her voice, but the words are so drawn out. It's just like slowly, like just starting to pull some feelings out of you to sink into the mood of the album. But you also have the whines and the glissandos of those top violins. You know, all these very spooky almost. But, you know, she gets lifted with some of these major chords every now and then, just to sort of get your hopes up, and then we sink back straight in. This is beautiful textures, as expected.
and we could cruise
More of those tremolo strings.
to the new.
That sinking. You see that sink?
Our honeymoon.
And this. Love it when those stacks come in. They're so wide too. Harmony is just beautiful. Again, like it's just such presence in the harmonies. They're just as full as the lead.
Plays around you. There are roses in between my
that melody she used all the time. National Anthem has that melody. There was one other one that comes to mind. Summertime Sadness, I think, has that. That waily melody.
Everything you do is elusive to
And just that slow pulse.
honeydew, honeymoon.
It's that diminished chord. And then 4. Woo! Just a single piano bass note. You could just soak in that. What a great opening track, man. Oh, heavily throwing that. And it's deep and, with the double bass and the piano low notes, just really filling up that bottom end. But yeah, it was a very harmony-based song. Great movement in the voices, in the strings. You notice a lot of time the strings, hitting these sort of climbs. That's just like moving up the scale, and a lot of this semitone. Tension. Movement. And the tremolo as well. We had a lot of this kind of just kind of sitting on here, and the tense just on some violas and a secondary string quartet with her vocals. That was definitely not unexpected. Lana Del Rey, as we know, huge on the harmonies, the stacks of vocals. The lead is still sort of front and center, and it's highlighted, but some of these harmonies, they're really mixed quite with a lot of presence and just some beautiful movement. The writing on the harmonies is top notch. So I spoke about this major sort of lifting you sort of get a lot of time. We're sitting here on the one minor, and then it gives us a bit of hope on that, but then we sink back down, and so you just get this sort of pulsing motion. That was for sort of the first 2/3 of the song, and then we just hit this awesome section with the snare, this military like snare drum. That was really very much for me reminiscent of the Born to Die era, where we have this deep bass drum that's doom. It's just kind of got this groove. We start to get a little bit of sway coming quickly in the lyrics as well. I mean, the delivery was like everything there. How she drew out every word really let you linger on a lot of these words, but noticing that they're all very powerful words, and words that contain a lot of things. Like honeymoon, just as a single word, has a whole story wrapped up in it. Like it's this post love celebratory feeling. Now over the minor backing, that gives you a very sort of different spin on that, where it's like, shouldn't a honeymoon be a bit more vibrant? But no, she says things like dark blue and Mr. Born to Lose. It's actually got some melancholy, some sadness to it. Anyway, but using that vowel, ooh, right? Honeymoon. It's a very somber vowel to stick on, which we got a lot of. We had honeymoon, we had two, we had blue, choose, lose, lots of oohs. Full of imagery in that, again, that section with the drums, violets in your eyes, guns ablaze around you, roses between my thighs and the fire that surrounds you. Like, get this vivid imagery. A lot of colors. Yeah, that was a very welcome opener. Next track. Coming in at track 2, we have Music to Watch Boys To, which I read this was a candidate for the title of the album as well. But anyway, written by Rick Knowles, Lana Del Rey, produced by Lana Del Rey, Kieran Menzies and Rick Knowles. Very popular song as well. Let's go. Music to Watch Boys To.
I like you a lot. Music while I'm watching the boys.
So that's definitely going to come back, that melody. Now we got a little bit of groove already from the delay, right? Dun. Woo. Super cinematic. Ooh.
Always fascinated me.
Interesting notes. There's that secondary drumming.
I see you're going
The ramp. I call it the ramp. So, hate to be pausing this. Straight back in the minor key. A little bit more of a pop progression. But we have a secondary dominant in there to nicely give some tension to that fourth chord. But yeah, that ramp, I call it the ramp, and it's like having a little break after just upwards inflection. It's like you launch and then you're coming back, and it's a very, very good way to keep your music moving. Yeah, thought I'd just mention that. Solo groove, but not so overpowering in the drums. That walk down. Da 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 da. More semitones. And the strings at the top. A brighter harmony in that section. Like out of sync on the two vocals. Some interesting percussion. Whoa! I'm gonna go back there. So there's some contra motion between the strings. Strings are going up, bass is going down. Man, I couldn't say much. I was just trying to catch a lot of that. Actually very similar to Honeymoon there. We had a minor key, strings versus sort of dark piano versus choral vocals. But the percussion much different that time. We had some interesting sort of African percussion even come in at some point. So, still in the darkness. There was the pre-chorus, had a little bit of lift to it, where you know, a lot of the song we just have this walk down. Bum, 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 bum. But you know, in that pre, a little bit more of the brighter chords there in the diatonic. And then, wow, that bridge. I'm going to go back and just quickly listen to that bridge because we definitely borrowed some chords there. It was, you could pick exactly the moment where we lifted up. Yeah. So the major 2 chord, that's a bit of a sort of Pink Floyd 80s thing to do, right? So you're expecting it to come back to here, but no. And then from there, a major 2, alternating, and just the rest of the chords. But basically what happens there, we're bringing in that note, which gives us this real Lydian sound. It really just brightens up. It's an amazing harmony, and just lyrically super cohesive music while I'm watching The Boys, you know. And then you got all this references to music. You have the word grunge, you've got the word guitar, and you've just got all these linking words. My favorite line there, Velveteen and Living Single, never felt that right to me. I know what only the girls know. Lies can buy eternity. It's got a very admiring tone. I'm keen to see where she goes next. Next track. Coming in at number 3, we have Terrence Loves You. Thanks, Terrence. Performed by Lana written by Rick and Lana, produced by Lana, Kieran, and Rick. Let's go straight in. Straight out with the triad.
You are
Real spread on the piano.
I don't
The melody choice.
at a time.
Da, 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 da. That wobble.
But Hollywood legends, when I lost myself, when I lost you,
Ooh, that little hang. Da, da.
but I still got you.
Dude, there's those present vocals again.
Got those blues.
Little jazz. Little sex.
When I lost you.
Oh, I love when she puts in these little wobbles. Da, 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 da. She just had two in a row there. And that, it's an easy thing to just be like, yeah, just find a note and stick with it. But adding these wobbles, it just gives it a little bit of unease, I feel like. And to add to that is just this ringing noise in the production. It's just like a little, it's just a little screech in there just to get you a little bit uncomfortable.
Who you are.
You hear that?
I never dare change me to what you are not. But I lost myself when I lost
I love it. All right, that's the
But I still get trashed, baby, when I hear your tunes. I put the radio on, order to get in my mind. Isn't strange that
It's just lush. That step up. Bum, ba-da. And then,
when I lost you. When I hear your
so the characteristic feature of that song, while that's working and so apparent at the end there, right? You're in here. We've got this D. Straight away, straight into that C, natural. Okay, we're hitting the lowered 7, and we get this kind of D Mixolydian almost feel, which is so cool, right? And she really makes it obvious with, she holds that natural, that flattened 7, and alternates between those two sounds, right? So, some more modal harmony going on here. And so that's really where you get that intrigue in the harmony, I think. And you can feel it, but, unless you're sort of aware of what's going on there musically, you might not know why. Funny how in the song lyrically, we mentioned jazz and the blues, and you've got that little sax line that just comes in there. Really nice. We also start out the gate with this, just placing that little pluck, dong, 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 dong. And we had a little groove come in there as well. That classic halftime Lana Del Rey big snare came in as well. Just gives you that motion, and it just breaks up the sort of sweetness of it with something real pokey, So I think that was a really nice addition. We're slowly adding in little instruments as we go through the track list. She's referencing those kinds of songs as well. We have Ground Control to Major Tom. So the David Bowie reference, it's a very nice tribute to that kind of music. And she's really, surprisingly, utilizes a lot of these techniques that Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, and David Bowie would employ in a whole different context. But I love that sort of crossover, and she uses it very well. If you haven't gone and sort of listened to some of that classic rock, you'll pick up the similarities. I would encourage you to do so. But yeah, Let's keep going. This is so good. We're building. I'm feeling it. Next track. Fourth on the list, God Knows I Tried. We have Rick Knowles and Lana Del Rey on the writing, and Lana Del Rey, Kieran, and Rick on the production. Let's get straight in. Ooh. Woo. That slight whammy.
Sometimes I wake up and
Still in the minor.
to red blue and you look so crazy. I could drink it like
There she goes again with those high and da-da. Beautiful.
the sunrise. Put on that hotel, California, dance around
Ah.
like I'm inside. I feel free when I see no one and nobody.
Oh, there's our.
God knows I live.
Yeah, so it's got that sort of blues progression to it.
Bed borrow and cry.
This now we've got a bit more rhythm too. You got that da 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 da, which fits beautifully with that lyric.
God knows I love.
Cool. So the second time around, she hits that
God knows I try.
secondary dominant. So quickly, so this I would call this the list technique. You can read about that in what's the guy's name? Jason Bloom's book about songwriting, and God knows this, God knows this, God knows this, and you just change the ending each time. Beautiful way to move the music lyrically.
God knows I tried.
Same key as Honeymoon. Back down.
Sometimes I wake
Very rhythmic
on Monday,
with the vocal this time.
they destroy me, but by Friday I'm revived.
Progression.
Put on that hotel, California, where my blinders
Ah,
are red.
that bit's the best.
I've got nothing. God knows I beg,
And these strings are hitting some.
beg, borrowed, and cried.
The strings are hitting some accidentals that just give you this beautiful tension. I'm just gonna go back a couple of seconds. Listen to that string, that violin.
God knows I beg, beg, borrowed, and cried.
Yeah, that I'll go back to it after.
God knows
Another one there.
God gave
That note.
me,
Ooh.
and God knows I tried.
So you get this almost competing harmony of this guitar versus the strings. Does she do those string arrangements? Because that's incredibly impressive if she can write that. Throwing that reverb. Yeah. Not quite the list technique with the light up my life, light up my life, let there be light, let there be light. But again, very repetitive nonetheless.
God knows I tried. God knows I tried. God knows I tried.
Oh, there's so many tasty little notes in there that are just thrown in. Probably gonna go back and just suss out what that violin's doing. But before I get to that, let's just comment on those lyrics, right? Obviously very repetitive. But what's great about music is you can have one line over one chord. So let's say, God knows I tried. Feels very different to something like, God knows I tried. And it feels different there, right? Even though it's the same line, it's the same melody, over a different chord, it means something else. So you're using music to actually come at a lyric, come at a phrase with a different perspective. The only time she actually fully repeated it was sort of towards the end of every section, because we also had God knows I lived, died, loved, lied, begged. So obviously changing the lyric there is going to change the interpretation. But yeah, it's just a beautiful thing to do. I think I've hammered that point enough. The I vowel is a whine, okay? It's a cry It's a desperate vow. You might think that's reading too far into it, but trust me, vowel selection is one of the key things when writing lyrics. And so having a lot of the I sound, this whining, this desperation, this cry out for help really solidifies the mood that she's going for. Actually, before we get to the strings, I mean, let's talk about that pre-chorus. Is it a pre-chorus? I don't know, but this bit.
Sunrise, put on that hotel, California, dance around like
Up there. Bringing that in. Hang in there as well for an extra bar on the dominant seventh. But her entry into that run. Put on that hotel. Just, the raised seventh on the minor, right? Beautiful entry. And then for the first time in the song, that beautiful major lift before we sink back down. Into the minor for the chorus. So imagine that. So you have a similar thing going on with his that accidental note in the strings later on. So let's go to there.
God gave me life, and God knows
Yeah. So we get some of that going on in the strings. I said previously, like competing harmony between the guitar that just kind of wants to sit space on its own. Sorry. But you have this interference in the strings there, and it's just clashing a little bit, like in a good way, right? Just creates some dissonance, and yeah, the arrangement on the strings is just top notch. Would be very curious to find out who writes the string arrangements. But as well as that, her melodies are doing that thing. We mentioned the wobble as well. A lot of the time, da 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 da, semitone or a tone sometimes. She hasn't pushed the vocal yet. She did a little in that pre-chorus. We'll see if she does. I'm always waiting for that song where she might. It's definitely not her style to just belt a lot. Oh, and rhythm. Da, 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 da. You know, playing on this 6/8 feel, we get a lot more repeating rhythms, using that rhythm with different lyrics to help flow the song, give something that the listeners, can attach to. But, loose enough that we don't feel too poppy. Excellent song. Probably actually my favorite so far. But the next one I'm excited for. I've heard good things. Let's go. Let's move on. Track 5, we have High by the Beach. Now, I've heard things about this song. There was a video that popped up in my feed about the guy who produced this. Must have been Kieran Menzies, I think, breaking down the track, which I didn't watch, and I'm very keen to. But obviously seems to be the hit single. It's the biggest song on the album. Rick Knowles, Kieran Menzies, and Lana Del Rey on the writing, and produced by the three of them as well. Whew, all right. I am ready. Can't tell if that's ambience or groove. A little bit of both, right? So it is on the 16th. Ticka, 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 ticka. Very interesting effect on that vocal.
know you know how I feel.
Another minor key with the secondary dominant. Interesting.
Here's harder. You take the wheel, can't survive.
So you got this.
If this is all that's all I wanna do is get high by the beach, get high by the beach.
Whoa.
All I wanna
Okay.
get by the beach, get by,
Different.
baby, bye bye. The truth is I never bought into, I knew that.
This is sick.
All I wanted to do was get high by the beach, get high.
So clear hip hop influence. Obviously the most rhythmic so far. What I love is like the mood she gives with her vocal over this kind of beat is very different. Not something that you hear often, right? We've heard that beat a million times, but with such a soft voice and such a dark treatment and such a soft delivery, very different. This is such a vibe though, man.
You could be a bad
And-
motherfucker,
Ooh. Harmony's just the same.
All I wanna do is get by the beach, get by, baby, baby, bye bye. The truth is I never bought into your
Almost exactly the same as God Knows I Tried.
because I knew that
Syncopation
by the beach, get
by using triplets.
baby, bye bye. Lights, camera, oxygen.
So, not only do we open into the majors and the long subdivisions, okay, so we take out that instrument, that synth that's hitting on the eighths, and so remove that and then have your strings playing basically whole notes here. So we're compensating that by extending the subdivision of the instruments and taking out anything that gives us too much pace. Throwing in some longer vocal subdivisions there. Awesome bridge. So now we bring back the eighths. Dun, 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 dun. Didn't think I needed Lana Del Rey on a hip hop beat. So we have an AABA hook. Oh, that little harmony at the end. It's catchy ass, man. I love that breather. Which was our intro, right? Ooh, that's dark. Yikes. That's a very malevolent finish, isn't it? Woo! What a tune. You know, I kind of feel bad because I'm sort of obviously emotionally attached through the sheer pop formula that is using. You know, we are attracted to that for a reason. The lizard brain gets going. That aside, it's just cool because, you know, she doesn't have any songs like that. So that draws you in, especially as a Lana fan. God, this musically, you know, it's simple. We've simplified the harmonies. Yet another song by her. All of these so far have all sat in a minor key, and most of them using the secondary dominant as our last chord to get us there. Tasty song. Drums not too powerful, just subtly keeping their groove. Mentioned the spread of subdivisions across the instruments. Strings came in with longer subdivisions, as they normally should and do. Her vocal chorus on the eighth notes and the triplets with the AABA. So A focusing on da 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 da. Right, that's the high by the beach, high by the beach. So you got that twice, and then the triplets. Da 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 da. You would be tribute to me. And she uses words with a lot more consonants in for that. So notice the first line's all I want to do is get high by the beach. You've got soft plosives there, right? Beach, g. They're not harsh. Now, when you look at the B section, the truth is I never bought into your bullshit. There's a lot more t, pay tribute, right? You get the harsher p, t, ch. These kind of things work really well on more staccato rhythms, right? These that's an art form. It's a skill to be able to craft lyrics in that way. I like to think I have a good ear for it, but think about that stuff. It doesn't really occur much in songwriting education from what I see. Sections where you want to really exaggerate rhythms, look for those harsher consonants and those tougher plosives there. Cool. So that's the rhythm of the vocal, but it's just groovy. You know, you've got sections that can just sit. So we had the break after the final chorus of just hi, hi, hi. When you have these groovy sections, you can just sit on it and just soak it up, you know. But what made that really special and really like interesting to listen to and not like, okay, boring, 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 please get me to the next chorus is because I think the production. I think you had these awesome textures, whatever effect was happening to a vocal, some mixture of an interesting delay, an interesting pitch shift, just doing a lot of work to keep our ears entertained. You know, we had the vocals coming in left and right and things like that. And wow, was that ending provocative and just profound. Anyone can start again, not through love, but through revenge. Through the fire we're born again. Peace by vengeance brings the end. Woo! Awesome song. Next track. All right, so we've had our mainstream hit. Let's see if we get back into some sophistication. Track number 6, this is Freak. Written by Rick Knowles and Lana Del Rey. Produced by Lana, Kieran, and Rick. Let's go.
Flames so hot that they turn blue. Palms reflecting in your
She loves this F minor.
like an endless summer. That's
Already.
the way I feel for you.
Repetition in rhythm and melody, but these extra production little ear candies, they're coming in at the end of the phrasing, right? As a response to her words. Not just random sounds thrown in there. They're coming in at the perfect time, just towards the end of the phrase.
Your halo's full of fire. I'm rising up.
There's that ramp again.
Baby, if you wanna come to California, be a freak like me too.
Nice.
Screw your anonymity. Dance to rock music. Kiss while we do
Sweet.
talk till we
Really drawn out chorus. Such a slow tempo.
freak like me
Lots to say about that hook.
Leather
Wait till I hear it again.
Life makes sense when I'm with
This is similar to Honeymoon, right? It's just like super drawn out delivery. It's interesting.
Look
But the contrast.
my back. So let's dance in slow motion.
Like you can feel the anticipation. She goes up to the more breathy falsetto.
Tear it up.
The classics are using the word up on an upwards melody. And that rest after the upwards inflection, like I said, the ramp, turn it up, turn it up. You have that break, really effective at building tension, anticipation.
Let's dance by the ocean.
So ABAC pre-chorus, lead in.
If you wanna leave, come to California, be a freak.
Really deep 808s. Lots of sub.
Is all you need to feel like I do.
So there's your AA, and then your B.
Music, kiss while we do it.
Very contrasting melody.
Till we both turn black.
And back to the A.
Baby, if you
It's the same chorus structure as High on the Beach, High by the Beach. But the slow delivery makes it like more drawn out, then it lets the instruments do a bit more play. It's an interesting chorus.
you're cold as ice, baby. Amazing in every
Full minor.
As ice, baby.
And there's that modal chord too, I think.
It's like I told you if you stay. Be a freak like me too. Screw your
Yeah, background vocals, man.
is all you need to feel like I
Flit. Honestly, it wouldn't be.
We can slow dance to
Wouldn't have been disappointed if the drums never came back in. But bring them back for the B section. Activity. Yeah. Dance. Yeah. These are all very good. Interesting though. We're back in F minor. Third song in F minor. Harmony really really supporting the lyrical content there. Freak, so you've got a couple of more dissonant picks there. This da 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 da. The the melody is just repeating and the rhythm is repeating. And so it becomes ordered, you know? And so that is useful for memorization and for catchiness and for letting people know, like, we really want to drill these lyrics in that hook. So definitely, I think, you know, that and High by the Beach. High by the Beach was a bit more of groovy, whereas this, you know, you really want to actually use that rhythm, and it's a tool to get us to just pay attention to that whole hook, which is really important because all the story is there. Come to California, be a freak like me is such a great summation of like where the song points you to. That's where the lyrics really shine. It's very enticing. It's got almost a seductive quality to it, a chaotic seduction, okay? Towards the end there, you get all these background vocals just filling up your speakers left, right, and center. I think that was a beautiful climax to bring that sort of stuff in. Very structured, again, featuring a lot of so we had an AABA hook, and our pre-chorus there, is ABAC, I would take. C being just the ooh as a lead in. You know, right with structure. It's a great thing to do. Just really carries the song forward. But yeah, cool to see some more 808s and hip hop grooves under Lana's voice. Very interesting mix. I think that's it for that song. Let's move on. Track number 7. And track number 7, the last one before our little interlude, Art Deco. We got written by Rick and Lana, produced by Lana, Kieran, and Rick. Second most popular track on the album, it seems. Let's find out. Cool. A little bit more on the electronic side.
Seen prowling around at night.
There's the wobble.
Not mean, you're just one to
Delivery
be
is.
seen, one to be wild.
The care in the transitions. I had to pause at this early, guys, but man, how delicately she slides between the notes. Wah, born to be that interval there. She glides into that like effortlessly and really keeps the control. Doesn't rush it at all. Love that. Can we listen to that again? I'm going back. Hang on.
Club queen on the downtown scene, prowling around at night.
I mean, that was great there.
Not mean, you're just
Nailed the
one
pitch.
to be seen,
This one.
one to be wild.
The way she comes in on Wild, beautiful.
Little body never know one to get wind, so you hang in the light.
So we got this kind of idea.
So Art Deco, out on the floor, shining like
Oh, percussion is awesome.
golden on shore. Baby, you're so dumb 'cause you want more.
Yeah, this is definitely Born to Die reminiscent. Fantastic. Like this formula for her with the strings, the heavily filtered percussion, like the snare, the softer snare, that really rings out. A little bit of delay on it. And the strings, like that whole instrumentation arrangement, I mean, that's the reason why these guys just keep working together. It's just the perfect match for her voice.
Thing on the downtown scene, rolling around at night.
She hits that so good.
Little body
And then, not to mention that jump.
That's why so you stay in
So there's our structure again though. AABA.
You're so Art Deco, out on the floor, shining like gunmetal. They all say hello.
Here you got an AAAB.
Them 'cause you want more.
And this is acting like more of a post-chorus. That's definitely Born to Die, you know. Very enjoyable. But notice as well, she's sitting the eights in the start of the chorus and then quarters in the post-chorus. percussion's spread, and these strings doing the long subdivisions, right? So what I'm expecting maybe later, if there is another instrument that comes in, maybe hitting on the 16ths or the 8ths. Could even be a background vocal, maybe. What did I just say? Boom, there it is, the sax. It's gone. Triplets, but still. Woo, but it's not overkill, man. And how dynamic is everything. Yes! Really using a full range here. Beautiful. Hello. So, hello. So on that, on hello, so we have deco, metal, and ghetto are matching, right? They're lining up. It's the same inflection, just a lower pitch, is what I should say. So deco, metal, ghetto, hello. Notice the last line, the cadence, which leads you, boom, into the next section. Subtle, but big difference. Like, you can't help but sway to this, right? And that triplet snare really helps that. Yeah. If we take it 4/4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? The last two beats, blasted. So I'll just let it finish. That's my favorite one, hands down. Because you have the triplet snare in the first two beats, then you take it off for the last two beats, makes the last two beats feel more open than they actually are in a way. So close, open, right? Versus something that's like dun, dun, ba, dun, ba. In that case, both the hits are open, both halves of the bar, versus a bit more excitement there. So I really, really enjoyed the percussion there. Always tasteful when these guys do it, beautiful sound selection, keeping the space, which is great because she needs that for the background vocals. That's such a great song. That's definitely the favorite. I think they just nailed the arrangement and the mix on that. It's just working beautifully, and I love the structure there. I love the lead-ins, that subtle hello does so much. Something about it. It just flows really well. Just really, really poetic writing. I mean, every song of hers is very poetic in terms of the writing, It's a lot more imagery, stuff that's a little more disconnected, and she just, like, look at that first verse. You've just got prowling, wild, downtown. That's all, those kind of words just really bring out the mood. So it's super moody, super poetic writing, and I love it. Can't get enough of it. Hope there's more. Let's keep going. And now we hit the interlude, Burnt Norton. Interesting name, I got to say. So just a minute 20. And we have written by Kiefer Calancia, Lana Del Rey, T.S. Eliot / the estate of T.S. Eliot. And produced by Lana Del Rey, Kieran Menzies, and Rick Knowles. I'm not expecting vocals on here, but we'll see. I love an interlude in an album. Just break the chapters a little bit. Let's hear it. Yeah, straight into the Sound of Music. The vinyl crackle.
Time present and time past. If all time is eternally
It's
present,
like a nylon guitar in the back
it's
there.
unredeemable. What might have been is an abstraction.
Or a harp even.
remaining
Whatever
a
that string
perpetual
is.
Possibility.
It's
Only
very
in
nice.
a world of speculation.
It's like meditation music.
What might have been and what has been, towards the door we never opened, into the rose garden.
Okay, Into the Rose Garden are the parting words into the next track. Cool. Yeah, short and sweet. Whatever that was. It could have been a harp, actually. You could pick it up. It's very nice. Very meditative. You got the delays in the vocal. Quite saturated vocal, quite saturated reverbs as well. just to bring out some of those, the higher, kind of high mid frequencies, just to poke at your ears a little bit. Apart from that, it's a nice little separation. Into the Rose Garden we go. I'm excited. Next track. Let's see. All right, track 9 is Religion. Let's have a look. We got written by Rick and Lana, produced by Lana, Kieran, and Rick. See what we get.
Everything is fine now. Let's sleep in Dog's Lake.
Very hollow sound with that
Our
guitar.
minds made up now. All of
Which is
their
most certainly nylon string. Heavy reverb.
fall where they may. Leave
Yeah.
it all out. The money or the drugs. For you there's only love.
Okay.
For you there's only love. It never was about. 'Cause you're my religion.
There it is. All right.
How I'm living.
So after this chorus, I'll bring us back because there's some cool stuff.
Say I should take some space. Well, I can envision that for
Oh. So, it's like the pitch is a little, like she slides into it very gradually, that in the high note. Oh, this is awesome. So similar to Art Deco, right? It's a little poppier on the structure, very hollow start. I just want to mention, so that harmony, it kind of fakes you out. We had at the end of that first section of the first verse, leave it all behind, let the ocean wash away. So we're starting here, falling. Then we go to here, and we'd expect to go there, which is where the chorus comes in. But instead, the first time we have that dominant into the raised, right? So you get that continuation. Then the second time, for you, there's only love, 'cause you're my religion. Then we resolve it. So that's an interesting touch. Vocals here is just, yeah. It's lovely.
everything only to survive now. All we do
Yeah, rhythmic repetition, melodic repetition too.
all I hear is music.
So
Like Lady Lay.
there, going into the pre-chorus, we go hit the 4 first. It's beautiful.
There's only love. 'Cause you're my religion.
Yeah, it's a very classic move into the chorus with the side background vocals, singing the melody still, but just stacking them up in unison, widening it out. She did that on Honeymoon, man.
My space
So you got about 3 voices in unison, I think.
I can envision. 'Cause you're how I pray.
This is, it's like it's just a little off. That's spot on though. Yeah, so like it's nothing new. We still got the halftime, we still got the minor key, we still got the secondary dominant. So it's, it's very consistent with the theme of the album, that's for sure. Another great hook.
You're how I'm living.
More semitone action in the strings.
When all my friends say I should take some space. Well, I can't.
So notice this time, the unison vocals are gone. She's thinned it out. It's just one voice and it's filtered.
That for a minute.
And then bring that back full. Interesting. No stack though. Beautiful passing notes in the bass. Most certainly Rick Knowles on that. Those sort of plucked, dry guitar sounds at the end. So, yeah, look, very similar to Art Deco, I would say. Yeah, it's more of a typical classical harmony in terms of like tonic, sub, dominant, dominant motion, which I think, it is still in the minor key, so it doesn't feel too hurtful, but it has a positive note to it, right? Especially when we hit going that pre-chorus on that climb from there. It's such a hopeful lift, and I don't know if I'm reading this correctly, you get the end of the interlude coming into this rose garden, and then we have this very worshipy song about this individual who she says, never about the money or drugs, it's never about the party or clubs. And it seems like she's very attracted to this. All right, we're past the freak stage, right? And then, high on the beach and all this sort of mischief coming in to a more mature. That's what I'm reading out of this between, prior to the interlude and after the interlude. See if it keeps going, right? Yeah, I'm picking that up. It did feel positive. The post-chorus, the Hallelujah, I Need Your Love, vocal work impeccable, man. Very, very solid delivery. Really sweetly produced. A lot heavier reverb on this one, I feel like. I've mentioned this on her previous albums, they leave a lot of these lower mid frequencies on in terms of not only her voice, but also the reverbs that you would typically probably take a little bit more of those out. It's a thick, like a thick air to it, which is very, it's her signature sound for sure. And it really hits, like I said, that positive, fresh new thing. We've got end of that first verse, let the ocean wash away, leave it all behind. I think it's really hitting on this discard the immaturity, let's discard romance without substance and move into this. I don't know where the story's going to go, but pretty much every verse is like consistent on that, as well as the hook. So definitely something that you should try to be doing in your songs is sticking to one lyrical concept, one theme, and just every line just pointing in that direction. The highlight for me was that the change in style for the guitar, just bringing in that nylon, and it's the dry and nylon string hollow sound. I think it's a nice tone. It really fits. It fits nice. It was a good choice. Cool. Moving on, next track. At number 10, we have Salvatore. And this one is Rick and Lana on the writing, Lana, Rick, and Kieran on the production. Let's listen to Salvatore. Oh, that's a nice melody. We'll see if that melody comes back in a vocal. So you get this very Western sound. But look at that synth bass in there. That's changing it up.
All the lights in Miami begin to gleam, ruby blue and green.
Man, he does the percussion well.
Neon too.
That's the secondary dominant
Every
into the minor. Okay, so there is that melody in her lyrics. Oh, then she's got the accidental there. Okay, so then she's slipping in with the dominant. Soft ice cream.
All the lights are spark on the downtown scenes, shady blue.
Yeah, I will say it is a bit overused, this dominant seventh into minor progression. For this one, textures are very different. Now this is great. Mimicking that initial melody. Hits that E flat. Yeah. It's got even a kind of folk structure. Minimal chorus, just with Lars. Cacciatore, limousines, ciao amore, soft ice cream. That's the hook, really, which is very I don't know, like, like medieval folk almost.
Summer's wide and I've been waiting for you all this time. I adore you, can't you
Interesting.
I was so wrong not to get a Medellin tangerine dream.
A lot of colors again.
Catch me if you can, working on my
Okay.
tan Salvatore.
Oh, yeah, this is cool.
Salvador can wait. Now it's time to eat soft ice cream.
Yeah, very folky. Like medieval folk. So watch that note here. Just dropping that. It's beautiful. Strings backing everything up. Yeah,
Soft ice cream.
dramatic. Whoa, just climbing that minor scale. Woo. That's a nice song. It's simple. Not much to it, but way more of a melodic focus. But very interesting use of that melody. Really, really exploring that idea. We have it there, and then the second time, she brings in that flattened E. Makes it just really interesting. I don't know. And the structure to it is great. And what's really cool, the coolest thing about this song for me, you're bringing in the bridge, exactly the same chorus melody, the Catch Me If You Can, Working on My Tan, Salvatore, reusing that melody, but instead of just actually putting more lyrics to it, I was commenting on how simple the hook was with just ahs and oohs, and then just Cacciatore, Limousines, Ciao Amore, Soft Ice Cream, which is a masterpiece in itself, right? Like you can say so much in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words. God, that's so hard to do. Really, really hard to do. But then she really explores it even more. Like just heaps of story just comes out. Plenty of story as well in the verses. And you get ruby, blue, and green neon in the first verse. We get blue in the second verse, and we get tangerine in the third verse. But that's that sort of medieval folk structure, right? You just have like some sort of melody. I'll use the same key. It's really hard to sound medieval on like an electric guitar, where you have this kind of verse, hook, verse, hook, verse, hook structure. Look at some old folk songs. I'm trying to think of some, but I can't. Maybe like Greensleeves, right? For me, giving it that kind of structure makes it super, super storytelling. And what a story it is. I think it follows well on from Religion and on from the interlude, again, going into the Rose Garden, of this suave man and she's in love with, and she's really hyping this guy up. My king, like a boss, he's saying jazz and blues, right? This character sounds cool. I want to be him. Well, yeah, he's just like, you're praising this thing and this story, and it's very descriptive, and then you just have this breather with Cacciatore. I think that's a really cool thing. Even though, like I said, it might be a bit overused having this chord structure, that's totally new. And not many artists, I think, are doing that. Bringing these real, like, older structures, like real older, like hundreds of years older, and just giving a pop take on it, really, really cool. But yeah, what a masterful chorus and bridge, really. Cacciatore, Limousines, Ciao Amore, Soft Ice Cream. I kind of like, I would get that tattooed, man. That's so romantic. Something about it. She does it so well. And her voice suits that kind of style really nicely. Man, continuing on to the next song, The Blackest Day. 11, The Blackest Day. What do we got? This one, written by Rick Knowles and Lana, produced Lana, Kieran, Rick. Yeah, cool, usual crew. Let's hit it.
Give me young, got my blue nail polish on. It's my favorite color in my favorite tone of song.
Yeah, lots of room for the vocals.
What you gathered
It's mixed
from my talk
a little
about you were
heavier on the mids. I like it.
It's not easy for me to talk about.
We'll stick it with the halftime.
Ever since my baby went away,
Interesting.
it's been the blackest day. It's been the blackest day.
Pushing the vocals a bit. I like it. Yeah, I love falling. She falls into that with the slide.
It's all
going deeper,
Whoa. That's a Born to Die era tactic if I've ever seen it.
can't feel love
Yeah, with the breath too.
in all the wrong places.
Yeah, nostalgia here for sure.
Oh my God.
Like, I mean, yeah, Rick Knowles, man. Like, I mean, both of them together, I guess. Big fans of the halftime. We're back here in the minor. We don't get the secondary dominant there this time. However, so it's a little bit of a chord change. That's nice. But yeah, man, these big doom on the strings and the percussion, just with those subtle halftime snares. Like, I mean, he doesn't use like a real snare a lot of the time, just like a little bloop. You know, that's your snare. And still very present background vocals. Vocals mixed a little more, just pushed a tiny bit on the mids, high mids. It's shining a little bit more, I think. Let's just keep going.
carry me on, got my new car and my gun.
That's right. The structure. Talk about that in a second.
Wind in my hair,
This verse,
your hand, listen to our song.
just everything comes out and just vocal.
Your hand,
Very carefully delivered, drawn out.
radio on.
And so this is what I'm talking about compared to things like, let's say High by the Beach, where it's less repetition of like exact melodies. There's still repetition, it's still structured, but you know, just that verse, she's just flowing it a little bit more. That's, I mean, and that just ramped up in the later albums, right? With Norman Rockwell. Yeah, you can see the evolution.
'Cause there's nothing for us to talk about. But the melody's gone. I can't feel
It's
nothing
way more flowing
since
and so dramatic.
we went away.
Yeah, so there's the crispy vocal. She's even got a lot more saturation in that chorus.
It's been the years, barely holiday.
On those open vowels, that saturation just kicks in. Now this,
'Cause I'm going deeper, deeper.
this is such a Lana Del Rey. Born to Die. You know, that call and response with the breathy voice. Oh, it's beautiful. Haven't got that in a while. That fall.
Should've known better than to ever let her get you
Cool, clear rhythmic change.
I got you where I want you, got you where I want you.
Haven't really had this eighth fill. Ooh, synth. Yeah, still got that waily delivery in the hook too. That she's been doing that since the start of her career. Ooh, keep it light, okay. Yeah, that little glide. Holiday. Love her vocal work, man.
It's not one of those phases I'm going through.
Oh, what a song.
It's on my own again. I'm on my own again.
Man, it seems like Rick and Lana just have an endless supply of minor halftime songs. It's her thing, you know. She's master of it, but I'm not. I'll never get sick of it. she can write those kinds of songs for days. It really stands out as something different. But I think for where it is in the album, it fits really well. Lyrically is definitely on the sadder side. It's a longing. It's like I'm missing out on this love. No, like it's slipping away from me. I think out of all the albums that I've listened to, this one is the most song to song progression and connecting storylines, I think, out of all of them. Let me know if you agree. But yeah, it's like you had Religion and Salvatore, and then it's like that high doesn't last too long. It's starting to slip away again. We're starting to slip back down. So I think it works really well where it is in the album. Now, I like what she does here. So if we look at the hook, love that she does this. She brings you into the era as well with references to musicians. So we have Billie Holiday, jazz artist, and she did the David Bowie reference before, and like throughout all her music, she does references to people who were actual real people alive at the time to put you into that environment wherever she wants to put you. Most of the time in these 50s, 60s, sometimes 40s. Most of her arrangements and musical choices reflect that too. But yeah, it's just a real good touch to do that. A lot more lyrically dense here. Yeah, it's just really, really good play between strings and vocal. With the harmony, some electronic sounds popping up here and there, which has been a feature in this album a little bit. We're not fully breaking away, but some rougher synths, I think for me in the mix there, again, having just that little extra distortion coming through, A, on her voice, B, on some synths. What does it do? It gives a bit of aggression to her music, makes it a bit more of an angry sad. It's really hard to get angry out of her voice, I feel like she's just got such a soft and round tone that it's hard to get that anger. So it's like putting that in putting that in production-wise, I think really helps her. What was I going to talk about? Yeah, man. What a throwback and to the post-choruses in like the Born to Die album. So she has you have your hook, but then it's like, oh, cool, it's done. No, she goes even bigger and more dramatic. And her voice, like the way she delivers these post-choruses, let's listen to that, right? So that real desperate sound here, and then vocally,
Because I'm going deeper and deeper.
she goes dark but like open at the end there. She gets to that rich darker. I can't do it. I can't do it nearly as good. That darker place in her voice, man. It's her low chest, and then that whispery tone, and that was all over the earlier albums. I really missed that, and it came back, and I'm so thankful it did, because I think that play, those three voices, her normal sort of singing, classical, jazzy, round voice just that she sings in most of the time, but also those two others, that whisper tone and that so like mysterious little bit of gravel chest. If any song has all of those three on her albums, man, I'm digging it. Overall, something that's she's done many times, but I think story-wise it has a really good place. Cool. Moving on, next track. All right, we're down to the last three songs. This is number 12, titled 24. Written by Rick and Lana, produced by Rick, Lana, and Kieran. 24, let's go.
There's only 24 hours in a day,
That slow delivery, drawn out again.
and half as many ways for you to lie
Yeah.
to me, my little love. There's only 20.
Secondary dominant again. Gotta keep saying it. But there's so much space here.
You lay awake with thoughts, with dogs, then you'll get free.
Woo! Hold up.
Come, I need a kiss. There's only
Okay.
24 hours.
Castanets. I love the tremolo too.
You love
Okay, hang on. The chords are spinning me out here. I'll come back to those. Man, this is like so cinematic, man. Very cinematic.
There's
Wow, so interesting.
24
Whoosh.
in the sheets.
Normally, Jesus, so delicate. Oh, so much to say. Let's just do one thing at a time, check. So the Latin influence, you got the castanets, you got the maracas. You normally associate that with like a more upbeat groove, right? Doom, cha cha cha, doom, cha 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 cha. You know, these kind of real dancey things, which she hasn't done, but it gives it a bit of a flavor with the brass as well. And I think, she really like tries to put you in a film. All her work is based around that. And so this, like, it changes the genre of the film a little bit, you know? But I got to come back to that harmony.
Most of them, you my love. If you lie down with dogs, then you will get fleas. You choose to leave.
Tremolo guitar, man.
Only 24 hours,
This is where it starts to really go off.
and that's not enough
Oh, and the harmonies. That was good enough.
to lie like you lie, or love like you love.
And that one. Oh, so tasteful. Yeah. Now we get some groove.
Me, oh darling, you hit that street on crooked way. While they
Oh, the brass.
your heart to reach, you're called to touch.
Come on. This is brilliant, man. Ooh. Finishing on a. What would it be? That. The minor major. 7. Just to give it that mystery at the end. Oh God, where do you start, man? I talked about the instrumentation, the brass, man. The brass. Come on. If that ain't cinematic, what is? Beautifully scored. I'm definitely going to listen to that entire track once more. Try and nail down some of those chord changes. Like, it just kept getting better. She added, like, it was good enough opening up into that awesome thing. Also, funnily enough, just after I mentioned this low gravelly voice for Blackest Day, she does that in 24. And I get not only all three of, to me, her best registers in the vocal, also in the background vocal, lots of places. Like, background vocals just went off. This vocal idea, I'll have to listen to it again. And the first time it was great enough. And then the second time these harmonies come in and these background vocals come in and it's awesome. Anyway, gonna listen to that one again. Stay tuned. All right. I just had a couple of listens actually. Get that harmony. That is, to get that harmony, that is some of the coolest harmony I've seen. We start out. All right. In this key, G sharp minor. We play around here. We know we're here because we have this secondary dominant here. But in the pre-chorus, we slip into the 2, but go to the G sharp major, right? Which now puts us in this kind of C sharp harmonic minor with the secondary dominant here. And then beautifully, we get this run to bring us back to the G sharp minor, right? And then we play it back around in that. And it's got this lovely chord. So we go here to here, wait, here. We get E major 7 into what you think is going to come back here, but no, we go to the dominant and then C sharp 7 into D sharp 7, and then it's like such a fake out, right? So let's listen to all that, and between that as well, coming out, it's like a palate cleanser harmonically, and then we're coming straight back into that. So let's listen to all that. So good, really cool harmony.
In a day
Right, so this is our just
and half
G sharp minor
of murder and carnage.
in plaid.
You like
Now here we had that raise again. Then this build up
There's only 24 hours,
brings us back to the minor.
and that's not enough.
Lovely chord. Therefore,
Like you love,
thinking we're gonna go back, but then
or love like you love.
that is just such a sophisticated touch. And then the brass stabs and all the harmonies. That is so cool. I'm probably gonna steal that. Never thought of that. Just baiting that. But instead, that's beautiful. I'm sure it's been used before, but that's definitely one of the first time I've ever heard that progression, especially in modern music. Whew, that was cool. So I kind of forgot about the rest of the song because of that. Beautiful lyrics. If you lie down with dogs and you'll get fleas, be careful of the ones you choose to leave. That is cool. So the delivery, like this was such beautiful Lana Del Rey delivery. We have just a careful, she did it on Honeymoon. Black Stay is still so careful. It's something else. And especially when it comes out for that last section
You're hard to reach,
there.
you're cold to touch.
So we just get this climax and then she pulls it all out really nicely. Like the fall on reach.
While they're all gone,
Pushing.
you're hard to reach. You're cold to touch.
And then a little bit of attitude at the end there. What an ending, right? So, man, I'm impressed. It's all working. We'll listen to that many times over. And also stealing that chord progression. Okay, 2 more tracks. Let's get to the next one. Second last track, number 13, Swan Song. Lovely title. We got Rick Knowles and Lana Del Rey on the writing, produced by Lana Kieran and Rick. No surprises there. What do we got? Swan Song. Ooh, reminds me of Grimes in those vocals. Yeah.
Put your white tennis shoes on and follow me.
Yeah.
And now you got your legacy. Let's leave the world for the lost. That's
Character
what
in the delivery. Such character.
you'll ever see again. And you are well.
What's that? More cinematic chords, man.
I will never sing again
This.
with just one
Man. So gorgeous. So strings here are doing the little intro harmony. bigger. Da, da, and it's that pass. Da, da, da. Gosh. She's giving me a lot of ideas. I'm going to write songs so differently from now on if I wanted to feel this cinematic.
And you've been gone so long.
And we've got more of this blue and ice. Man, harmony's just beautiful. It's shimmery, but there's enough space. It feels like such an end credits, you know? Like the movie's just finished and this is the credits. So, C sharp minor, into the A, and then C sharp major. What? That awesome lift. And then you slip back into more diatonic, right? Just kind of rocky even. So that grounds you. And you get the repetition. It's like a double hook, man. She's like in that crystalline place in her voice too. There. String work is golden. She loves repetition on these, again, the ah or the ooh, as was in Honeymoon. Similar thing here with the swan song. Gosh. You could have ended the album on that. Like, that's a finish, that. Very my type. Just personally, that's my type of song. The film, the cinematic chords were a bonus. Huge amount of modal interchange. Well, one chord. But it's a doozy of a chord, right? Because that's our tonic, that's our center, C sharp. And then you don't have to be musical to hear that, right? Spoiled, absolutely spoiled. Masterful vocal delivery once again. Pushing those high, you know, like, oof, that top of the range. And she does it nice and piercing and gets you right down to the bones, man. It's such an indulgent song. But no, it felt like, especially the way that it opens, left a lot of room, and it just felt like, yeah, the credits are rolling. This film is coming to an end. It's beauty in this one. We got water and ice and dark blue as well, which we had in a few of the other songs. It's luxury, man. It's got a little bit of that desperation to it again. Not as whiny as like an I. It's just beautiful. But notice how she flips the palette, right? Lyrically. One song we had, let's go with religion, prayer, worship in terms of her lyrical palette. Now we've got water, dive, swan, blue suede, ice. It's just full of ocean. It's full of this blueness. Man. We are blessed with one more song though, so I shall get to it. Let's go. All right, here it is. The final track, shortest one on the album aside from the interlude. You know what to do if you made it this far. Throw that whole album gang down in the comments. No cheating, no timestampers here. Don't let me be misunderstood. See how we close it out. I think that previous track was an awesome finish. But, okay. This is not written by Lana. This is Benny, Benjamin, Gloria, Caldwell, Sol Marcus, produced by Lana, Kieran, and Rick. I believe this may be a cover. I did read somewhere. Let's quickly check. Yes. So I was correct. So this is, it's good that I did a bit of background check on this because she did this on the other album and I was like, oh, there's so many writers on this, but it was a cover. So this is a cover of Nina Simone. Makes a lot of sense closing the album out of her original material with Swan Song. Yeah, that seems so fitting. So we're going to go out with a cover. I'm just going to then judge not so much the writing, but just her style, her production. Probably later on and go listen to the original track. But yeah, let's see what she's got.
Baby, you understand me now. If sometimes you see that I'm mad, I can always be an angel.
So even the cover's got the secondary dominant into the minor.
See some bad, but I'm just a soul whose intentions are good.
Oh, the return of that tremolo and the guitar too.
You know, sometimes.
So there's your secondary.
And then sometimes
To there.
again it seems that all I have is worry, misunderstood. If I seem edgy, I want you to know I never meant to get out on you. 'Cause I love you. Oh, baby, I'm just human.
A little throatiness there.
Don't you know I have faults like anyone?
We'll mention the heavier pre-delay on the reverb there. Like it's very slappy.
Sometimes I find my sister soul's intentions
Which is like
are good.
overly vintage.
Oh, Lord, I try so hard.
You can see the influence now.
Misunderstood.
See it. There's the minor major 7 there. I wonder if the original song has that too. So, with the pull off too. Woo. All right, there we close it. Man. Yeah, you can see the influence that kind of music had on Lana's own music. She definitely made it her own. We'll love to go back and sort of listen to the original one of that and see where she's changed it up, but especially in that last chord. Yeah. But yeah, not too much to comment on then, obviously, because it is a cover. But I will say, man, her delivery gets you every time. The vocal mix felt a lot different on that, you know, heavy, pre-delay, filtered reverb. Just gave it, a really overly vintage feel, and like she was like singing straight to vinyl, you know. That's it. I think we're just going to wrap up our thoughts in the outro here. Beautifully constructed album, really impressive. But yeah, let's go to the outro and wrap this whole thing up. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Honeymoon. Wow. Honestly, I will say the first sort of few songs, I'm like, yeah, this is great. I don't know if it sits in the league with Norman Rockwell because I'd been listening to that over and over in the lead up to this. But then we had the interlude in the second half of the album, and that just solidified it for me as excellent piece of work. I mean, she's done it again. Where to start? First of all, every single song on that record was in a minor key. I don't think I've ever experienced that before. So, you know, a lot of the atmospheres felt very similar just because everything resolved back to that minor. But within that, we did get a few songs that really stepped up the game on the harmony. You know, in terms of which song I prefer, that was incredibly hard to decide. I cannot pick a favorite there. They are all incredibly high quality. They're all fantastic. Honeymoon was epic. God Knows I Tried, I loved. Higher Than the Beach, I loved. Freak, I loved. Art Deco, I loved. But Religion, I loved. Salvatore, I really loved, actually. That may be my favorite. Nah, it's too hard. Everything is good. 24, magnificent. That's a real good album. Yeah, as I said in the intro, I want to do Blue Banisters and Chemtrails, so I'm up to date, and then go through everything again chronologically in my own time in the lead up to the new album. We got a lot of what Lana is good at. Vocal stacks, treated in a very similar way. Obviously, very familiar by now working with Rick and Kieran. With this team, I feel like they're even still just starting to get to know each other. And every song is like, let's do what Lana does really well, but maybe just one little element in there that like really mixes it up, like in 24, right? And you had the brass come in, or High by the Beach with that hip hop vibe. So feels new. And there's so much because she has that specific goal with her music, right? To put you into that cinematic place, the noir culture. It's such a rich place to explore stories, romantic stories that are in that sort of time period. That she takes you into cultural stories. And there's just so much to discover that with each new album, she still sort of sticks there, but it's just something fresh. Whew, yeah, I really loved it. Honeymoon, perfect title. It's a lot of romance in that. Like, let me know if you agree with that sort of interlude. You know, you sort of come with this honeymoon, and then let's look at these tracks before the interlude, right? You got Honeymoon, Music to Watch Boys To, Terrence Loves You, God Knows I Tried, High by the Beach, Freak, Art Deco. Most of that tracks, like, you're imagining, right, you got this woman who's like spying on boys and getting into all sorts of mischief on the beach, and come California with me, let's be a freak sort of thing. Wild. Boom, interlude. You go the last line of that interlude into the Garden of Roses, and then the romance really comes and matures with Religion, with Salvatore. 24, Swan Song, man, such an impressive song. So I think it really sweetens up, and the romance, she comes at it from a different angle after that interlude, man. So it's progressively, as an album, just, I don't see a lot of that these days. It's got a timeline to it. I think she's definitely an artist that is more like that. Yeah, God, I'm rambling, but I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I really genuinely, I'm glad you guys are pushing me to react to Lana Del Rey, because there's so much to unpack, and it's such a great listen. Thank you for sticking around. Please drop a comment with something that I missed, something that you want me to react to. Link is in the description again for the Discord server. Subscribe if you like what you see and you want more videos. Please do that. It helps me. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I hope you all have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.